they are sammarun lil-kadhib. Sammarun is not only they listen, but this is it is, as we say, mubalagha. It is emphasized. They are avid listeners to falsehood and lies and untruth. Akkalun lis-suht. Not only they eat, unlawful, but they are avid eaters. Akkalun, siga mubalagha. So they, this is their habit. What we call khubth al-batin, the corruption of their hearts. You see, and obviously, as Nabi Sallallahu says that if the heart is corrected, then the entirety of the human being is corrected, and if it's corrupted, then the entirety of their outward and inward is also corrupted. This is the case of such individuals. فَإِنْ جَاءُوكَ فَاحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ. So if they come to you, then judge. If they come to you and they ask for a judgment, then judge between them if you like. فَاحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ أَوْ أَعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ. And if you like, leave them. Just go judge for yourselves if you like. Now this is in the case of the people who are non-Muslims, who come to the Prophet ﷺ, or they come to after the Prophet ﷺ, ones of authority or a Muslim judge, and they are not what we call dhimmis. They are not citizens, basically, of the Islamic community. They happen to be there, they're musta'min, or they just happen to be there for whatever. But they have not actually come under the pact of dhimma, which entails paying jizya, paying a tax for that. And in doing so, they are protected, and they are not responsible for zakat. They are also not responsible to fight in the wars that might take place with the Muslims, and they're quite well off. As a matter of fact, they are permitted to continue with their own religions. They are permitted to continue with the traditions and even the rules and regulations. So if they have their own set of rules and regulations, just as we say, the personal law and all that, they're very free to exercise that within their community. In fact, to the extent that even though in Islamic society we don't allow intoxicants, neither their possession, neither their sale. However, since in the Christian communities, Jewish communities, other communities, it's legal for them, according to their understanding. So they are left to their understanding in those issues. We don't force them also. So therefore, even to the extent, the justice of Islam, to the extent that if a Muslim, for example, he goes to a Christian's land and he has swine and he kills those swine, he says, this is haram, we can't have, the Muslim is going to have to pay recompense for that swine. If he breaks his wine bottles, he would have to pay for that because that's property according to them. It's not property according to us, but it's property according to. So the point is that they are protected for their religion and for their traditions and for their, and for even their legal system, which is not blatantly, against, Islam, and it's not going to cause, a lot of fitna and chaos. But otherwise, in such instances, even in their marriage customs, they had some things that were totally against Islam. But among themselves, okay, they're free to do so. That's if they are citizens of the country, which means citizens meaning they pay the jizya and they are law-abiding citizens otherwise. Now, in this case, if they actually come, if they come to the Prophet ﷺ, as was the case of some of the people of the Ahl Kitab at certain times in Islamic history, during the time of Rasulullah and then thereafter. So in that case, the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Rasul is فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ. You judge among them in justice, and justice is of course according to Sharia. So if they come to us and they said, whatever you decide, we'll accept it, then in that case, and they are dhimmis, they are citizens, so now the judge will have to judge according to Islam. If they are not citizens, they come so the Prophet ﷺ is here, is given the option, if you want to judge among them, or if you don't feel that that's expedient or that's not appropriate, then a'rid anhum, leave them, let them decide among themselves. وَإِن تُعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ فَلَن يَضُرُّوكَ شَيْئًا. And if you turn away from them, and particularly in the case of people who are just looking for, they're looking for some sort of way out, and again we call hila, a sort of a circumvention. So if you turn away from them, don't fear that they will have any power whatsoever for any sort of retribution or reproach. فَإِن تُعْرِضْ عَنْهُمْ فَلَن يَضُرُّوكَ شَيْئًا. They will not be able to hurt you at all. وَإِنْ حَكَمْتَ فَحْكُمْ بَيْنَهُمْ بِالْقِسْطِ. And if you do decide to decide in their case, then decide in justice, qist, in equity and just, in qist, which is obviously the rules of Islam. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُقْسِطِينَ. And Allah SWT emphasizes that, and again, legislation always with motivation. So Allah SWT loves the people who do justice, so therefore if justice is done, you'll be loved by Allah. He will help you in this world and He will give you recompense in the hereafter. And then further Allah SWT reproaches these Jews. كَيْفَ يُحَكِّمُونَكَ. How do they seek the order, the judgment from you, while وَعِنْدَهُمُ التَّوْرَاةِ. And they have the Torah, it's there with them. It's very clear that the stoning of the adulterer and adulteress is very clear in their book. فِيهَا حُكْمُ اللَّهِ. And it has the order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which is exactly the same order that we have in our Sharia. ثُمْ يَتَوَلَّوْنَ مِنْ بَعْدِ ذَلِكَ. And then they turn away because they didn't get what they were looking for, as we mentioned earlier. وَمَا أُولَٰئِكَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And these are not people of Iman, far removed from such. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala save us from taking on characteristics of such, and make us among those who say سَمِعْنَا وَأَطَعْنَا. We hear and we obey. Ameen thumma ameen wa akhir da'wana. Alhamdulillah.